Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the variety show that revolves around one central theme: stories and the people that tell them. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. And hey, if you're feeling up for it, leave a comment down below, let us know you subscribed, and we will give you a shout out. Hello and welcome
to Stories,
the True
and the Fictional.
It's another episode, Ryan, but we missed an episode last week because I was away on holidays with no internet.
It wasn't my fault this time.
It was my fault, and then we realised we did have internet, it just wasn't plugged in.
Yeah. Jamie had a bit of a Curb Your Enthusiasm moment. They was like, oh, there's no working internet, and then like 5 minutes before they leave, they just realised it wasn't plugged in.
Yeah, pretty much. But it wasn't my fault. I didn't book the accommodations.
So. Oh, here we go. Just passing the blame. You could have had a good look for the internet though.
Yeah, could have. But I got my phone data.
Yeah. So we had a week off. So and it was a long weekend over here too, and it is again this week. But last week we had Friday and Monday off, so it was quite good. I went to the beach on Saturday.
No way.
I didn't go to the beach. I stayed in the car, but Steph and her friend went for a walk on the beach. And then we went out for lunch, so that was about it.
Not to brag, but I spent a week on the beach.
I don't like the beach.
Well, I didn't mind it.
I sat in my car and watched wrestling while they went for a walk.
Though it was pretty funny because one night, because where we stayed, it was essentially you look out the back window and it's a bay, and it's just all people with their boats, the little and one was me and my nephew were pretty convinced that it was rocking very particular more than the other ones.
Wow, chicken, wow.
Pretty much. It there was a light flickering, and then there was the boat.
Well, I'll be going lakeside for the next few days after tomorrow, up into the beautiful tea gardens where my dad lives just off the lake. So it's going to be nice and nice, quiet reflection. Maybe I'll write that book, The Shopping List. I don't know.
I still want to publish that, mate.
Well, I have to write it. Stop putting me under pressure. It takes a lot to do.
Okay. Look,
I can't afford to quit my job and become a writer. Okay. All right.
Yeah, well, my second book's coming out next week.
I know. I've pre-ordered it.
Wonderful.
Even though I've already read it, but I've still pre-ordered it.
Well, it's been tweaked since then.
Okay. Is there more Ryan, the Uber driver? He was awesome.
Don't spoil it for the reader.
Look, to be honest with you, all I passed it around a bit, and the only feedback I got was we need more Ryan. So,
all right, yeah, okay.
Just is he back for the sequel? Is he back for the threequel?
Well, he can't be in the sequel.
Oh,
because this.
Not with that attitude.
Look, all right.
I'm just saying, protest, Bow Mountain.
Look, it's Bucks Night, all right?
Yes.
That's the first one. The second one's called Hen's Night, and they both run parallel. You can't be in both books at the same time.
I'm only in the first book for a little bit. I can wear a dress.
I've said, and I swear I've said this to you, I'm going to put you in the third book.
Oh, yeah. If I had $1 for every man that said he was going to put me in the third book, I'd be a very rich man. Yes. Anyway, this is not the Jamie's book. Oh, yeah, it is actually the Jamie's book.
It is, actually.
Tell us about the book, Jamie, before we do it.
Well, look, it's based on a true story. No, it's not.
It's called When Angels Wept. I've got it. No, that's the wrong book.
No, look, it's the idea came from the mutual friend of our Chris Parks. His Bucks party that I threw for him, and it was a medieval themed Bucks party, and had the idea: what if the zombie apocalypse happened while we're at a medieval Bucks party, and we all had the weapons to fight zombies? So that's where the idea came from. And then it just expanded from that. So the first book's called Bucks Night, the second book's called Hen's Night, and the third book's called Wedding Night. Zombie apocalypse and romance and medieval weaponry. Well, what more would you want?
Well, I've told you what they want more of.
Right.
So
Look, I'll just make you the main protagonist of the third book. And
I'm not saying it'll work, but I think it would.
It might be like What happened on The Simpsons when they added an extra character to Itchy and Scratchy?
Oh, the dog.
Poochie, I think it
Yeah,
was.
Poochie.
It'd just be Ryan. Hey, I'm Ryan.
Hey, I'm back. Oh yeah, everybody remembers me.
Yeah. But anyway,
So when's it out?
it's out on Thursday Australia time, so 28th of April.
And I think it was $4.99. You can pre-order it on.
Yeah, and it's going to be on Kindle Unlimited as well. So
yeah, I saw that.
Enjoy.
But I chose to pay $4.99 for it to
Because
support
that's what friends do. Because that's what heroes do.
That's exactly what heroes.
Yes. Anyway, enough of self-promotion, Brian. Tell me a joke.
Well, I was on an airplane the other day, Jamie, and yeah, it was, and the stewardess lady came up and said, "Would you like a drink?" And I said, "Oh, what are my options?" And she said, "Yes or no." So, and Jamie, look, I caught my son. I don't have a son, but for these purposes of this joke, I do. I caught my son chewing on electrical wires, so I grounded him. He's doing better currently and conducting himself properly. I've just and look, Jamie, you know, I know you've been on me to write a book, but I've just finished writing a book on snakes. It would have been much easier if I'd just written it on paper. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those wonderful, wonderful jokes.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Now, this episode, we are diving into the 90s. So I pulled another story from the 90s, and this one's a bit...
This is a painful story.
Oh, it is, but it's so far out there that, you know, if bit of a warning for you listeners and watchers, it may make you flinch, especially if you are someone with the male genitalia. This actually happened in 1993. It's called The Curious Case of Lorena Bobbitt. So basically, she cut off her...
John Wayne was her husband's name was John Wayne Bobbitt.
Yeah, and she cut off his, you know what, his schwangdangle, his penis, with a carving knife while he was asleep, and then drove away and threw it in the field, I think.
Mm-hmm. Threw it out the window while she was driving.
Yeah. And they obviously found it because they sewed it back on, and then he became one of those porn stars. As you do.
I mean, it's a hook. It's a hook.
Just
the man whose dick fell off got cut off by his wife. Stars in Debbie Does Donkeys.
Yeah, so that's my story. It's random, and it makes me flinch every single time.
Mm-hmm. Family Guy did a joke about it not long ago, and it still made me flinch then. So
it really happened. If you are someone who's had that, no.
No, because see, that's like the fashion at the moment is to have your appendage chopped off and change genders.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between choosing to and having someone do it for
you. Yeah, exactly. I think the difference is reality show or true crime. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what the difference is.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Let's move on. So we're talking about this is our part 2 of our 90s special. Now, me and Jamie are both musicians, so we decided, you know what, everyone talks about TV shows, movies, video games, which is what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about our favorite albums from the 90s, which is kind of when we got into music, so it's pretty influential. I know on my list is 2 of the albums are the reason why I got into punk rock to begin with. So yeah, we're going to go through some albums, talk about how we felt, you know, what it did for us, and then also discuss, you know, most an embarrassing one and a couple of honorable mentions as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is the 90s. It's when I discovered punk rock. Yeah, I'd listened to other music before. Like there's one album, I put it on as an honorable mention, because it was the first album. Went, you know what? I like this album, but I'll save that for the honorable mentions. But my first album that stood out was Lagwagon. Let's Talk About Feelings.
Mhm.
I first heard them while playing Tony Hawk.
As you do.
May 16. Favorite song. Yeah, I just it's that punk rock beat, you know, that fast paced, that gets me every time.
Mhm.
And I ended up seeing them live for the first time probably about in 2016, I think it was. And yeah, I don't know if there's real much I can say. Just that Lagwagon, Let's Talk About Feelings, is one of the greatest punk rock albums of the 90s, in my opinion.
Look, I never really got into Lagwagon too much. I enjoy the music.
Yeah.
I was never one for like, oh my God, it's Lagwagon. Like,
Yeah.
never saw, I think I saw them once at a festival. But yeah, look, everyone's going to have different,
Yeah.
No. You know. So what I think we're going to do now is, it's coincidence because the first album that you ever bought and the first album that I ever bought is in fact the same album.
All right.
So I think we'll just talk about this one now as my first one, and then obviously you can talk about it as well because we're on the album.
Yeah.
This album is Blink-182 Enema of the State was the first punk rock. Now I'm a bit different. I used to be into like heavy gangster rap.
Yeah.
When I was in primary school and early into high school. So I was into like Tupac, Notorious Big, B.I.G., all those kind of guys, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. But my first foray into punk, which is when I started hanging out with the guys that would in fact be my best mates and be in the band, was Blink-182 Enema of the State, because I'd heard All the Small Things on the radio and I loved it. And I bought the double disc edition, which had the bonus.
All right, the live stuff.
Yeah. So I've listened to that album a billion times. I could probably recite every word to every song on it. My favorite song on that would have to be "Don't Leave Me." A lot of people don't like that one, but that one was
Don't leave me
all alone, just drop me off at home and I'll be fine. Yeah. That actually got me into punk rock, pop punk, and that in turn got me into the band that I was in.
Yeah.
And then shaped the next 20 years of my life.
Yeah.
So great album. I don't think there's a bad song on it.
Oh, no, it's great start to finish. And I actually got to play it front to back with my band.
Okay.
And one of your old guitarists. Yeah, and there was this real skeptical guy there. He's like, you better do this right. You better do this right. Like, for starters, we have a trombone player. That's not very right. But yeah, honestly, I think the track I listened to the most was Dyson Terry Gary.
Mm-hmm.
Life just sucks.
Yeah.
I must go on.
I have to say, my favorite songs on the album were not the traditional. Like, I did love like "What's My Age Again," All the Small Things, Adam's song, but I loved "Aliens Exist," "Don't Leave Me."
Yep.
You know, they were like, I guess, I don't know, because they were some of the earlier tracks on the CD where I was just like, if I was going to get interrupted while listening to it, I'd at least get to, because I think "Aliens Exist," and then I think it was "All the Small Things," and then I know Adam's song was in the middle and "What's My Age Again" was at the end, and I don't know. I just liked it. I'm more of a Tom's. I love Mark Hoppus's monotone, and that's kind of what I base my singing around. But for some reason, Tom was just. I prefer his style because it's like everyone used to call it the whiny pop.
Yeah. And
I don't know. I just liked it.
It's really fun because it was a pretty popular album in my school because I went to a private Christian school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the teachers were very, don't play that song, don't play that. Which songs have the swearing in it? You know? And then we had a school chaplain that was trying to be hip and cool. So he's like, what are the popular bands today? And then we're like, oh, we listen to Blink-182, Green Day. And then he's up there doing his little talk, and then he goes, we're not listening at all, but then he goes, just like the song Adam's Song by Blink. And he starts quoting the lyrics, and we all go, what? And then he stops and we go, it's trying to be relevant. But yeah, that was like, leads on to my next one, because that album and Green Day Nimrod were the two most played albums at my school.
Well, I mean, I think once Time of Your Life came out, which was on that album on Nimrod by Green Day, I think everyone kind of jumped on the Green Day bandwagon. You know, Time of Your Life was that one that, you know, you could listen to without getting in trouble. And all the mums seemed to like it. Like my mum used to love that song, and used to like, I like that song. You know, the Time of Your, and it was played at every freaking graduation.
Yeah, ever since 1990.
Yeah, well, oh man, seriously.
My parents reluctantly bought it for me because they're like, it's got language written all over it. And then I had another mate who said,
there's just a song that talks about going to a whore, and you know,
my mate's mum read the lyrics and was like, this is, and then he's like, oh no, it's cut out, like you know, fake.
Whatever.
Yeah, and then but she believed him. So I think I used the same method, but you know, but Hitching a Ride was my favorite off that.
That's that iconic, you know, that iconic instant. Hey, Mister, where you heard?
Which is their old song Brain Stew, just sped up.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's in a different key. Because Hitching a Ride is dun 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 dun, and Brain Stew is dun dun.
Oh yeah, I get you. Brain Stew was that on which one was that on?
It was on the Godzilla soundtrack. I don't know what it was.
I think it was on 1039, one of their first.
Yeah. I honestly, I heard it on the Godzilla soundtrack, the 1998 movie or whatever it was.
I'm looking it up right now.
Google, the power of Google.
It was on Insomniac, the second album.
Yeah.
The second studio album, Insomniac. That's what it was on. So, well, speaking of Green Day.
Yeah.
My favorite Green Day album, I liked Green Day before Time of Your Life, before it was cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, my favorite Green Day album, which is also on my list, is Dookie, by far. Basket Case, When I Came Around, like those songs are just, I could, you know, they were on repeat.
Yeah.
In my house. Once I discovered punk rock, once I got rid of rap. Well, I never got rid of rap. I still like it, but When I Come Around, Longview. I mean, Longview's got one of the best bass lines in it of all time. Yeah. Welcome to Paradise, another great fast. I love that song as well. So yeah, really good album. So that's my number 2 favorite album of Green. I'm a massive Green Day fan. I've seen them. In my opinion, they put on the best stage show. I'm not going to lie. I saw them. The best concert I ever went to was at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Yeah.
All right. The lineup is Simple Plan opened.
Yeah.
Jimmy Eat World played second, and Green Day closed the show.
Oh man.
I mean, we had seats, and I don't think I sat down for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And Green Day, and then following that, the next year, Green Day American Idiot show, they played for 3 hours.
Damn.
And I went to that with Tim again. We had seats, and I don't think we sat down. As soon as Green Day hit the stage, we didn't sit down.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that show at Sydney Cricket Ground was my favorite. I mean, look at the band, Simple Plan, Jimmy Eat. I mean, that's pop punk right there.
Yeah.
And because it was in the Sydney Cricket Ground, Green Day could do fireworks and stuff. You know, it was an open air arena. So, but yeah, Green Day will always be the best live band I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I've seen a lot.
Yeah, that's a big call.
Yeah, it is because Green Day, the Green Day and believe it or not, Simple Plan's the second. They know how to put the show on. They know how to get the crowd into it, and there's never a lull.
Yeah.
So Green Day, there was never a lull. If you can get me And I was at my heaviest back then. I was like 100 kilos more than what I am now.
Damn.
You can get me to stand up for 3 hours when I'm at that weight, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. That's Green Day hold a very, very, very special place in my heart.
Yeah, I've never got to see him live, but
Never. I've seen
no.
every time they were out here. I saw them.
Yeah,
because I knew it'd be worth the money.
That's my that's my next artist. That's the next album, the next artist on my list. It was my first step away from punk. He still called himself the punk rock of piano rock. Ben Folds.
Okay.
So Ben Folds 5, Whatever and Never, Amen. That's the one with brick on it. She's a brick and I'm drowning. Yeah, it's I almost felt like, should I be embarrassed like this? Because I love punk so much. Like I loved punk. No, but like this was my head back then. I was just like, this is different. I don't know if I like, But I listened to the album a lot, and I've seen him live 7 times.
Oh wow.
So yeah, always puts on a great show. He's probably the best artist I've seen live. Little white nerdy dude comes out, and then he starts rocking out like hardcore. But yeah, I just love his diversity. Like he's, he can write a song like that.
Yeah.
Fast.
Oh yeah.
Melodic. It's slow. It's a ballad. He is insanely good. Yeah. Yeah,
I agree with. And look, this is the next album I'm going to talk about is a slight step to the left from pop punk.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw these guys for the 3rd time, it was the best night of my life because the West Tigers won the grand final for the first time in 60 years. Goldfinger supported them.
Oh, Goldfinger.
And everyone loves Goldfinger. Like, if you love punk, you love Goldfinger. If you love Tony Hawk, you love Goldfinger. Yeah. If you didn't discover Superman, if you didn't fall in love with the song Superman on Tony Hawk's Skater by Goldfinger, but this next one was the first album I bought of these guys, has my favorite song, and this album is Turn Off the Radio by Real Big Fish.
Oh yeah.
As I said, step away from punk because it's predominantly ska.
Yeah.
It's the first ska band I ever heard, and I fell in love with it instantly. I mean, this album has my favorite song, which is She Has a Girlfriend Now.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, but it's also got Sellout. It's also got SR. It's also got Trendy. It's also got Everything Sucks. It's also got Beer. It's like the best Real Big Fish album of all time. Came out in 96. And I'll never forget that night because this was at the Roundhouse, and Roundhouse was one of my favorite venues of all time. That's the one regret that I have in my punk rock career, that I never got to play on the stage of the Roundhouse. I got to do the Annandale, which is up there in one of my...
Yeah, I got to do that too.
Playing the Annandale. The Annandale was on my bucket list, but the only other, like, within reason...
Yeah.
Like, the Sydney Entertainment Centre. Like, within reason was the Roundhouse. And there was one time where there was a slight chance that could have happened. But man, Goldfinger, West Tigers winning the grand final, and then finishing off the night with dancing around like an idiot in a ska pit to Real Big Fish. And then I was like, okay. And I bought the album, and then I've literally still got every album since.
Yeah.
So yeah, Real Big Fish, man, that's there's you can always get into pretty much every song that they play.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what it is about it. It's the guy's voice. He's got a semi-monotone voice, but he's got the ability to just make it fun and make it good. And you know what? It's not about like, the traditional stuff that punk rockers sing about. Yeah. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And, every song makes you smile and laugh. And I guess, from my band where we did songs like My Dad Wanted a Girl and all those kind of things, we kind of got that out of it. We never really took ourselves seriously. We never really had any songs that we were like, get your tits out for the boys and stuff. Like, we didn't take ourselves serious. We knew we'd probably never get played on the radio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get a feeling that was Real Big Fish's. That's where they stem from. So, Real Big Fish, Turn the Radio Off, 1996, fantastic album.
Yeah. I got my favorite album of theirs is Cheer Up.
Cheer Up didn't make the cut 2002.
2000, yeah.
Because that's another great album of theirs. But yeah, that was 2002.
Yeah, no, but because that's when I first heard them.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, because I think a lot of people sort of either joined in the mid 90s or joined in the early 2000s because you've got Cheer Up, you've got Fame and Fortune, you've got Candy Coated Fury, which all came up in the 2000s.
Yep.
But then you've got Valerie off that album is one of my favorite songs.
Valerie,
I wish you were there. And the band The Tube Top.
Yep.
That's another great. Yeah, like Dateless Losers. We are the Dateless Losers.
Even the obscure ones like Drunk Again.
Yeah, Drunk Again. Yep. And that was the one that had the Frank Sinatra, New York, New York.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like that's for my mum loves that.
Well, I think because it doesn't it's still because you think about it, ska and scat or like old school. That it's a similar.
Well, that was primarily vocals. That yeah.
But no, that's an album from 2002. So we have to.
Yeah,
it's still a great album though.
I was just saying that.
Yeah. I get you. I feel you, man. I feel you. That's a great album.
Going back to the 90s, and still sticking with the punk rock theme. Probably the most punk rock band there is. NoFX. So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes.
I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia just on NoFX. I was watching. Do you remember Sons of Anarchy?
Well, yes.
You haven't watched. Like, you don't have to watch it. There's a spin-off called Mayans, about the Mexican. One of the guitarists from NoFX plays a Mexican biker in the latest episode.
Oh, cool. El Jefe.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was funny because Fat Mike tweeted it out. He's like, make sure you watch this Mayans because one of ours is in this episode. I thought, wow.
That's cool. No, look, I love this is probably one of my favorite NoFX albums. I think my second favorite is, or even favorite, like these up and down.
I mentioned the other one just in case I'm going to mention it next.
No, well, it didn't make the cut.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's War on Errorism.
Oh yeah, that came out. That's not
2000
recently. That's like in the last 10 years.
No, it was like 2000 something.
Okay.
Like 20 years ago at least.
Oh wow. Okay.
2003 or something like that.
I'm going to source it too.
Yeah, no, but like So Long.
No, you're right. 2003 came out.
Boom, got it. Yeah, no, So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes. I flipping loved it, and it was just had random ska song in the middle and fast-paced short songs. And from memory, they recorded it in 3 days and then mixed it in 12. So it was punk rock like nothing else. Classic, murder the government.
100%. That's what NoFX is all about.
Yeah.
They were kind of the last. Them and Bad Religion were kind of the last punk bands that were like not singing about girls and all that. They were singing about like anti-establishment and stuff like that. Because you had Black Flag in back like before them, but I think NoFX around that era with Bad Religion were like the last. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Though on So Long Thanks for All the Shoes, the last song on the album is called Falling in Love. Yeah. Great song though. Great song.
You know where they got the title from for that album?
I do. Like, is it Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Galaxy? Yeah, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
So Long and Thanks for All the Fish.
There's a it's So Long and Thanks for All the Fish.
Yeah.
But the reason why they said So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes was because everyone was always throwing their shoes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that
was pretty cool.
I remember seeing it wasn't the 90s, but it's no, what was it? It was Newfound Glory and Sum 41 at the
at the Roundhouse.
I think it was.
Yeah, I was there. I actually got fired from a job the next day because I fell asleep because I had no sleep because we were partying after that show.
Wow.
Because I remember they did it one night. I saw both nights. One night New Found Glory headline, the next night Sum 41 headline.
Well, I saw it with New Found Glory playing first.
Okay, yep.
Because Derek got a shoe thrown at his face. Like, it hit the microphone and smacked him in the face.
I mean, he didn't have a nice face to begin with, so maybe it was a bit of an improvement.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like, because I've seen videos of NoFX playing in ankle deep shoes all over the stage. But yeah, a friend of mine, because I was heaps into Blink and Green Day, and then a friend of mine, you know how they go, they're like, "Oh, have you heard NoFX?" I'm going, "What?"
Yeah.
He shows me so long. Thanks for the shoes. I'm like, "What?" And just fell in love with that drum beat. That.
Well, sticking with the story we just told about New Found Glory and Sum 41.
Yeah.
New Found Glory were, aside from Green Day, Blink, and New Found Glory. Don't look at me like that. I've done my research.
What? So the first album came in 99?
Sorry?
Are they within 1999?
They're within the 90s. I'm just going to prove myself.
Is that cover?
Now you've got me doubting.
They got a cover. They did a cover album.
No, it's not that one. Give me 2 seconds. New Found Glory, Green Day, and Blink 182 are my inspiration for punk rock. Okay, I'm just going to double check the date on the album now that you've been questioning it, because this was my favorite.
Is that their first one?
Let me look it up first. 99, May the 1st, 1999. Nothing Gold Can Stay. Hit or miss, man. That was my favorite New Found Glory. You had me going.
No, well, because I knew it was on the
99, May 1st, 99. Hit or miss, Third and Long, and we did a cover of Broken Sound. Broken Sound was their first sort of slow.
Now I know that that's right, because I remember kids at my school playing Hit and Miss. They're like playing it all the time. They're going, yeah.
Well, that was the original version of Hit or Miss, because they did remaster it and put it on self-titled.
Yeah.
But this was the one with the talking at the start, and it was a little bit slower. Like that was a little bit slower than what it was on self-titled. But they did do that. From Your Screen to the Stereo came out before this. That was the first one. That was a covers album. But Hit or Miss, and All the Small Things, and When I Came Around, the 3 songs that got me into punk rock.
Yeah.
So I have to include it on the list. I used to get made fun of because everyone's like, another example of like the whiny voice, like Jordan.
Yeah.
But then obviously as you go through their discography, it gets not better, but he matures. But that was just what was so unique about that.
Yeah. No, well, that's the same as NoFX. Like, I mean, their first album is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's terrible. Mm-hmm. And he could barely carry a note. And then it's just like, I guess after playing for so long, he obviously didn't get singing lessons, but he just got better.
Yeah. Well, as you do with practice. But the one thing I do remember about this album, it cost me $80 because it was so rare to get. And back when we were in high school, $80. I think I spent my first paycheck when I was working at Coles on this, $80, because it was so rare. I had to order it in from a music shop in Castle Hill.
Wow.
And they had to get it in from the States, and it ended up costing me $80. So I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. With everything going digital and growing up and moving out of home, I'm like, whatever. I'll just download everything, or I'll just get it all on, digital Apple to iTunes and stuff. But New Found Glory, I mean, all of their albums are amazing to me, but this is the main one of their original stuff that falls within the 90s.
Yep.
So
excellent.
Nothing Gold Can Stay.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our embarrassing albums.
I still had a few more.
Well, I chose 5, and you said we were going to do 5.
Did I do 5?
Yeah. Well, you must have.
I did.
Unless you got one more.
New Found Glory, Green Day,
Real Big Fish.
That's it.
And then you did. Well, that's weird. Well, all right. You shoot out your next however many you want to do.
Well, I'll just do briefly. I've just got 2 more.
Yeah. Shoot.
I'll just go, like, I'll just discuss them briefly. I won't go, and then I've got my embarrassing one as well. So NoFX, Punk in Drublic.
Yes, that's a good one.
That got me into NoFX.
Is that the one with Don't Call Me White?
Sorry?
Is that the one with Don't Call Me White?
Yes, it is, and it's also the one with Anti-Establishment, I think, as well, which is probably one of my favorite tracks of all time. That, again, we've said pretty much. That's why I thought I'll just give it a mention, because we've already spoken about NoFX, but that was the album that got me into it, which then led me to go back to the one that you were talking about as well. And the last one, which again just scraped in, 1999, was Blue Skies, Broken Hearts, Next 12 Exit by the Ataris.
I've been listening
to High School Football Rules, Your Boyfriend Sucks, 1:15:96. Seriously, like,
I won't spend another line alone.
Yeah, hell yeah. Angry Nerd Rock.
Yep.
So
I
absolutely love the Ataris. That was the only album that made it into the 90s.
And what I love about them is because they've got something different about them in the sense that Chris Rowe, I think his name is, plays a right-handed guitar upside down.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. He didn't
get. But he clearly could afford to get what he needed.
No, well, he could have bought a left-handed guitar.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know if this is it, but I'm thinking this is how I would think. Where are you going to just rock up to some place and there's going to have a left-handed guitar? Like if you're at a party or someone just learn to play a right-handed one upside down. You never go wrong.
Well, I remember back in the days when we first started out, and we would sometimes. This was before we met you guys. This was in the first iteration of our band, Bubble Wrap. We would still do parties. Like we were still doing parties and covers and stuff. And there would be 2 or 3 songs. We just mix it up. Like we did My Friends Over You by Newfound Glory. I could play on bass like that, so that was my song to play on bass.
Yeah.
And then Nod, our drummer, would jump on bass, but he's a left-handed, so he would do the same thing. He'd flip it around.
Yeah.
Because obviously we didn't have the money to have a left-handed bass. No, it's a dog. I just saw it.
Yeah.
We didn't have the money to do a left-handed bass, so he would just literally okay, and off we go. So look, but I just think Chris Rowe definitely would have had the money to. But I can understand. I can understand. My favorite Ataris album will always be So Long Astoria, but that's 2003. That album, man, makes me cry when I listen to it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just from start to finish, man. Every song on that album, and I love all the Ataris albums. I actually got to see them play like a mix-up. I think it was Mike from Mxpx, Chris Rowe from the Ataris, and the dude from the Starting Line played in a band together.
Yeah.
And they came out to Australia and they only did one show. I think it was like the Factory near Oxford Street.
Yep. I've played there.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't played there, unfortunately.
Saw Andrew McMahon there, who's Something Corporate.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember Something Corporate. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
Punk Rock Princess.
Yeah. Oh, that was so good, and he's amazing live. He is absolutely amazing. Well,
he's a good keys guy as well, isn't he? He plays piano. He's a good pianist as well, isn't he?
Yeah. No, and I think I annoyed him, because I know that he hates it when people yell at play. Like there's one particular song. It's called Constantine, and it goes for like 11 minutes or something. And he's like, he rocks up and he cranks out with one of his Jack's Mannequin songs. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah, it's gonna be a great show. We're gonna play a lot of old stuff from Something Corporate, and I just go Constantine, and he's like, no, not that one.
See, I prefer Jack's Mannequin to Something Corporate.
Yeah, no, because he definitely stepped it up.
Yeah. But I think I have a hatred for Something Corporate because one of our, again, Nod the drummer, his girlfriend at the time, and we had to play her 21st at Blacktown Workers Club, which is good because they've got an awesome stage, an awesome sound system. But the catch was we had to play Punk Rock Princess by something corporate, and she had to come up on stage for
And
it.
sing it.
I don't like other people on my stage.
Yeah.
I don't like sharing the stage.
Yeah.
Like, except for the band guys, you know what I mean? But like, because it's kind of like wrestling. It's like if you're in a band, you're one of the boys.
Yeah.
So like if you were to jump up on stage and sing, that would be fine because you know what I mean. But she was a civilian and not a very nice person. And yeah, I just that's why I hate that song.
Yeah.
Just the same as "Sweetness" by Jimmy Eat World. I used to love that song until I had a car accident. When you know when it's like, if you listen and whoa, bang. That's when I had the car accident then, just when we were all singing and focused. I wasn't paying attention, and I ran up the arse of this guy, and it was up in the entrance, and it cost me like almost $1,000 to get the car fixed and towed back. So I got towed back to Sydney and then fixed in Sydney on my Coles wage, aka my dad and mum and dad had to pay, and I had to pay them back.
Yeah.
I couldn't listen to that song anymore because like we were jamming out. We had the best day. We were at the beach, you know, as you were. We hand out CDs and can't listen to that song anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, I could go on for hours, man. Like those bands. I mean, I didn't even mention anything by Mxpx, and they were a big.
Oh yeah, they're amazing.
You know, Mxpx, me first in the Gimme Gimmes, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Goldfinger, like all those kind of bands back from those days. You know, just before punk rock died.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same. I remember a time when we were playing shows Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoons, like, and we just couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, and now if we got the band back together, I don't think we'd get a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to my friend Dwayne, who I used to play a lot of shows with. He was in Heroes for Hire, and they probably got to the level where, you know, I would have loved to get. Like, they got to tour Japan, they got to tour America, they got studio album film clips, like proper film clips, not ones that we produced ourselves.
Yeah. And
they had their CD in JB Hi-Fi without having me sneak into JB Hi-Fi, putting a price tag on and giving it in the section many times. Like and even I was talking to him the other night because he's in a Blink cover band now, and that's literally all he can get. And he is probably one of the most talented guitar players and vocalists that I've ever had the opportunity to play with. And that's all they can do. Blink 182 cover band. That's all the only work he can get.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a different age to what it was 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So, but at least we have the memories.
Yeah.
We had some great times. I never forget. I remember the night I met you.
Yeah.
I can't remember who introduced us. I don't know if it was Jez or because I think he was the only one. It might have been Mitch. I don't know, but I was at a gig in Blacktown.
Well, because I met Goz first.
Oh, did you? Maybe that's how it was.
And Facebook memory came up recently, and it was talking about Ironfest, and I was off at Ironfest all nerdy.
Yeah.
And then Goz said you and Big Man would be like peas in a pod or something like that.
And I remember when we first met at that gig at Blacktown, I think we were playing the Blacktown PCYC, and as soon as I met, we just started talking about Supernatural and Arrow. That was it. Yeah. And then it was just off from there, you know?
Yeah.
But man, we had some good times. So I'm always going to be thankful for. I mean, I started in the band in 1999, and I quit music. I quit No Further Questions in 2020.
Wow.
I got 21 years.
Yeah.
And there was a period, as I said, for about 2-3 years where we were playing Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, you know, and that's probably one of the best times in my life.
Yeah, no, and a lot of good memories.
100%. A lot of the guys in the band got a lot of women.
Yeah.
and I just pretended I was just not confident, but I didn't like women. But yeah, it was great memories, man. Like, you know, I met some really good people that I still keep in touch with to this day.
Yeah.
You know, which is great. So yeah, good times. So now let's move on to our embarrassing albums. Mine, I don't think is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Might be embarrassing for you, but not for me.
Yeah. Boys to Men.
No, you go first.
Mariah Carey. No, well, look. When I thought, okay, most embarrassing, I didn't think. I wasn't thinking, okay, like now it's embarrassing. I think when I was back then and listening to it.
Well, that's the way that I picked mine as well.
Yeah, because it was so different.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked it, and I secretly liked it. And I remember one of the kids at school, I had a Walkman. He's like, "What you listening to?" And I was like, "Matchbox 20."
Mm-hmm.
And he's
like, Matchbox 20 is a good band.
Yeah, no, they're great. But back then, it's just like in my teenage mind, it's like it's not Blink, it's not Green Day, it's not what's popular in school.
Yeah.
And like the guy was like, "What's that?" Yeah, so I always secretly listened to it, and I loved it.
But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a secret, Jamie. I'm going to let you in on a secret.
Yeah.
In high school, girls are fucked. They play with your feelings.
Oh no, I know that.
You know what I mean?
Trust me, I know that. But
and then when you get famous, a little bit famous for a band, and you put out albums, you start making a little bit of money, they all add you to Facebook.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, they've all got 7 kids. And they just add you to 7 different dads. And they add you to Facebook. And they're like, oh, hey, I'm coming to your show. And I'm like, I remember one girl, I went and saw Grinspoon at Castle Hill Tavern. And my band was opening for them. And I got to meet Phil from Grinspoon, top like, this was when he was drinking too. So he was like, come on, we were there. And one of the girls I used to go to school with and I liked, I use quotes because, came up to me at the bar and she's like, hey, do you want to buy me a drink? I'm like, I'm sorry, who are you? I knew who she was. I'm like, fuck off. I got fucking Phil from Grinspoon standing right, like literally this far away from me.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry? And she's like, oh, I won't mention her name, but she's like, oh, it's such and such from high school. Remember you asked me out at high school? And I'm like, oh, yeah, how you doing? Like, I was just like, yeah, what's up? What's going on? And she's like, oh, yeah. And then I think it was the guy in the band that knew Phil.
Yeah.
He knew I think I told him about her or whatever. And he's like, he actually did a really cool thing and got Phil to come over to me. Because this was in the area where Greenspoon was headlining.
Yeah.
He got Phil to come over to me and go, oh, hey, man, how you doing? Like, what are you up to? I haven't seen you play for a while. Like, what's going on? And her jaw, seriously. You could have fit about 10 cocks in there, which probably had.
Yeah.
But just hit the floor. And I thought, you know what? And she's like, oh, do you want to buy me a drink? I'm like, no, I'm cool. I just walked.
I've actually got a good story about Grinspoon.
Yeah. They're awesome dudes.
Yeah. No, but this isn't the story that it's related, but it's not directly related. But my brother-in-law, way back then, so he's a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew Grinspoon's, who's the guy from Grinspoon, the singer?
Phil.
Yeah, he knew his dad really well.
Okay.
And so my brother-in-law's at this party, starts chatting up this chick. He's like, yeah, so Grinspoon? Yeah, I'm good friends with Phil's dad. And she goes, wow, he's my dad. he was chatting up Phil's sister. And he was like, I'm gonna drop this, I know Phil's dad.
I'm gonna do a name drop of the century.
Yeah. And then she's like, it's my dad. Oh, it was so good.
Wow.
But I don't think I ever got into them. But
I got into Grinspoon because that was one of the most requested bands that we had to cover at these parties we were playing. Like, we covered Dead Cat, Champion, Ready One, all those songs we used to cover. So, like, I guess I got into that because of what we had to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're actually really nice guys. And it was just because of this, the guy that was opening, I knew, and I was talking to him. He's like, oh, if Phil always comes down and has a chat, the band comes down there, and he goes, I'll introduce you. I'm like, sweet, yeah, cool. And he did that cool thing for me when he was drinking. But apparently now he's not drinking. He's not a very nice person, but I haven't met him when he's not drinking, so it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, Matchbox 20, man. There's no shame in that. I've had all their albums, and you know, I
Yeah. Mad Season's phenomenal.
yeah, 100%.
That
Yeah,
last
that's the one with
track.
Push and 3 a.m. and
No, that's some
that's a different one.
that's their first one, Yourself or Someone Like You. No, Mad Season.
Oh, that was the one. Yeah, that was the blue cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got that song called Mad Season, and it's
Yeah.
got that one with the film clip with all the cellos on the roof.
Chemical. Oh no, that's Green Screen.
If you're gone, baby, it's time to go.
Oh yeah, When I'm Gone.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was heaps into them, but I was secretly into them. So I'm not embarrassed about it now. It's just back then, I think I was a little bit.
Do you remember when they first released singles? Like
Yeah.
on CD?
Yeah.
First single I ever bought
Yeah.
is leading into my embarrassing.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm going to say a few lyrics, Jamie, and let me everybody rock your body.
I knew it.
Backstreet's back.
Back. All right.
My warm up before a show to get my vocals like for where I wanted them was to sing the entire album of Backstreet Back in the car.
Oh wow.
Steph will attest to that because there was a few times she was in the car where I had to do that. That was my warm up. That got my. If I could hit those notes, I'm good to go for pop punk.
Well,
yeah. First,
I will say that the 90s boy bands were far superior to what we have now.
100%, man. Like I used to be Backstreet's Back, NSYNC. I used to like NSYNC 5 from the UK.
Yeah.
But seriously, the first two singles I ever bought were Everybody by Backstreet Boys and Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
Hit me baby one more time.
And no one thought that I was a gay man. But hey, the first two singles I bought were Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys.
I used to sing to myself regularly Boys to Men stuff. So
Boys to Men's awesome.
Yeah, they're very talented.
I'll make love to you when
you want me to. Not hold you tight.
I saw them at Rudy Hill RSL, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, it was only 3 of them though.
Yeah, well, that's what they are now apparently. Because even when they were on that episode of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, but they were good, man. Like End of the Road, they were cracking into that, man. Yeah. Cooley Highly Harmony was a great Boys to Men album.
Yeah. That
had End of the Road, had I'll Make Love to You, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I used to. That was how I used to practice. I used to literally. This is an exclusive. I used to get a hairbrush, stand in front of the mirror, and that's how I used to sing and how I used to, how I used to warm up.
Yeah.
Or taking shows, sing like punk rock things. Yeah. I would sing Backstreet Back.
There you go.
So that's. Well, I don't call it an embarrassment, but you would probably call it an embarrassment.
No, so. I think we all secretly liked Backstreet Boys.
How could you not like the Backstreet Boys?
Yeah. Oh my God, we're back again.
I could do the dance and everything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, but I could.
Well, I got a few honorable mentions.
Me too.
The very first album I listened to, and I was like, you know what I like, because I was quite young. And it was Crowded House. It was their best of album in 1996. With
Would have to Throw Your Arms Around Me.
Yeah.
Gonna be home
all away from America.
You Better Be Home Soon. Is that
home soon. Yeah, everything was on there.
Better Be Home soon.
That was really good. And that was my first introduction to music.
Was that through like your mum or dad?
Through my sister.
Oh, through your sister.
But,
my dad, massive Mark Seymour fan, the guitarist from. So I grew up on that. I grew up on Jimmy Barnes and Cole Chisel, all that kind of stuff.
No.
Yeah, great. That's Crowded House, man. I will put them on my playlist every so often.
Yeah.
Throw Your Arms Around Me is one of my favorite songs.
My mum was heaps into John Farnham.
Yeah, that was my mum as well.
I cannot, like, I guess I respect him, but I cannot stand him because of how much time my mum would put it on repeat.
Oh, look, the man just can't make a decision on retirement either. I need to respect. But I tell you what, like my mum was massively into Queen, and I thank her for that because, I mean, Queen, like
Fine, yeah.
it's just the Queen and the Beatles. They were her two favorite. But I remember during our early days, our first year when we started playing, my mum and dad would come to every show. We played the Lansdowne Hotel. My parents were there. We played the Excelsior in Surrey Hills. My parents would be there.
Yeah.
And I got my mum into Good Charlotte. My mum used to love Good Charlotte from the first album.
Yeah.
And she used to love Green Day. So at time of your life for Green Day got her into it. But Good Charlotte, she's like, oh, these boys are nice.
Yeah.
And I tell you, you're always going to have something that you grew up on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I absolutely love, what was it? Like I still love Cold Chisel. Hunters and Collectors as well.
Yeah.
Hunters and Collectors, bands like that. I used to go with when Mum passed away. They used to play up Blacktown Workers Club, and I'd go with my dad. Dragon, like April Sun in Cuba. Everyone knows that, So it's your taste in music might be different, but everyone grew up on what your parents like. You know what I mean? And imagine probably not me, but imagine if you do eventually find someone to have kids, and you're going through, Dad, what did you used to listen to? And you're like, well, let me tell you the story of Lagwagon.
Yeah. No, well, funny that because went on the big family holiday this year, and my nephew wanted to come with me, and so I made this play mix and called Oliver's Education.
Ooh.
And it was just play this of all the old stuff I used to listen to, and he starts singing along. He's like, "Oh, I've heard this. I know this." So he's already into the same kind of music that I was into.
Well, that's good. You're giving him a popular musification.
Yeah.
So, all right. What's the other honourable mention?
My other honourable mention was I remember a guy at my school. There was a band at school, and they were called Fifth Place.
Mm-hmm.
They're like very punky rock. It was somewhere between Living End and Green Day, I guess, like kind of that sort of thing. But he was wearing a Less Than Jake shirt, and I remember going, "What's Less Than Jake?" And then finding Hollow Rockview.
Mm-hmm.
All my best friends are metalheads, and it was my first forte into the ska world.
Yep. Because they were kind of like probably the most punk rock of ska.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this album's a good one. My favorite album there, unfortunately, is in the next. Like, I'll give it a little bit of a mess, but it's in the album. But yeah, this album, man, like, I remember going back after I found the album that started me on it. And yeah, all my friends are. What is it? All my friends are.
All my best friends are metalheads or something
like that.
That's
right. And there's I think there's another one called 5 State Drive or something.
Yeah.
That was that classic. That guy that was another unique voice.
Yeah, well, there's two of them. So
yeah. No, my favorite was Anthem.
Yeah.
That my favorite song of all time, but Anthem came out in 2003. But my very, 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 very favorite Less Than Jake song is "The Ghost of You and Me."
Yeah. Oh, that's a great song.
And that album's actually good. The Science of Selling Yourself Short is that was the first Less Than Jake song that I heard.
Yeah.
But again, it's another one, the Plastic Cup Politics. Plastic Cup Politics. Well, it's another one where I went back and I kept going. I went back to everything that they'd done and I kept going, and it's still I can still listen to them to this day. And because I'm driving up to my dad's house tomorrow, I have a feeling that I'm going to be listening to a lot of punk rock tomorrow on the drive up. But no, we'll be Less Than Jake, man. They're just I saw him at the Manning Bar.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not in Sydney, the Manning Bar is like a 500-person venue, which they normally stick about 700.
I've seen a few bands there.
Mxpx, I've seen their Motion City soundtrack. Smaller-ish bands that they think probably couldn't sell out the Horden or something.
I saw Lagwagon there, and all I remember is two crappy bands that played before them that
Yeah.
I wondered how they got on the bill. And the mushy carpet that was beer soaked.
Yeah.
And you couldn't stand still, or you would be stuck there.
That was it. They always overpacked it. But you know what? You always found a parking spot because it was in the uni.
Yeah.
And you just freaking park, like you'd make your own parking spot.
Yeah, pretty much.
You might have to walk a K, but you'd still get a parking spot.
But probably the best lineup I've ever saw there was Bayside.
Oh, Bayside.
Starting line.
Yeah.
Bayside, starting line, and Amberlin.
The starting line, did any of their albums fall into the 90s?
No.
I don't think so.
2001
was the first one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop my two honorable mentions. I'll keep it brief. Another band which you haven't mentioned, but I'm gonna say you probably have influence is the Offspring. Smash was the first Offspring album I heard. Bad Habit, Come Out and Play, Self-Esteem. Like Self-Esteem was probably one of my favorites. That album came out, I think, 96. Absolutely fantastic. Self-Esteem is, everyone knows the Self-Esteem, the la 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 la, great, and Come Out and Play.
Yeah,
that's got the do 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 do.
Yeah.
And Bad Habit, if you want a song full of swearing, that's a good one for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Offspring, man, another one where, after Smash, you've got Americana, which doesn't fall into the 90s, but I mean, Americana gave us Pretty Fly for a White Guy, and why doesn't she get a job? Like the most known Offspring songs for anyone who's never even heard of the Offspring.
Yeah.
I think that brings it. And look, this next one might be a bit of a left field one, but Tragic Kingdom by No Doubt. Don't Speak, Sunday Morning.
Don't speak.
Yeah.
Just what you Yeah.
Just a Girl.
Just a girl. Yeah.
Another Gwen. It came out at a time where there was not that many female rock singers.
Yeah.
And Gwen Stefani, obviously, she's gone on to make millions and billions of dollars. Yeah. But yeah, that was I used to love listening to No Doubt. So yeah, they're my honorable mentions. And there's probably a million more that we can mention, but we don't have time.
No, we don't. So let's just move straight along to Ryan's recommendations. Anything you're recommending?
Yeah. Actually, this you might not know about this, but my recommendation is the new show by the guys that did Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Killing It. It's on Stan at the moment in Australia. Stars Craig Robinson, who you'll probably know from. If you might not know the name, but if you see him, you'll know him. Mm-hmm. So basically, what it is he's a single dad. He's African American, and his ex-wife is deaf, so he signed, and he's got a daughter. And he's got a brother who it's a little bit dark at the start, but it's a comedy. But his dad took his brother. He caught his brother and him stealing lollies from the corner shop when they were little. So he takes him back to apologize, and his little brother steals more, and Craig Robinson's character dobs him in, and his dad goes back in to give him the lollies, but the store's getting held up and his dad ends up getting shot. So the younger brother goes to crime. He's just like trying to make a buck off everything, like robberies and all this kind of thing. But he's going straight. He's got an idea. He's a financial. Not a financial, he's like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he's got this idea that he wants to buy this swampland because there's a plant there that can cure prostate cancer. He just needs someone to invest.
Yeah.
There's a security guard at the bank, and he goes to try and get a loan from the business. And anyway, his brother ends up robbing the bank that he works at, and he doesn't even know about it, and he only recognizes it by the shoes. But basically, long story short, he goes into, he gets an Uber to this meeting, and the guy wants to meet him at the swamp. So he goes, look, I want to give you the money. Let's meet at the swamp. Let's talk about it. And this Uber driver is an Australian girl who, long story short, she hunts snakes in Florida. if you kill a python, you take it in, you get money because they're overbred. And then she pulls over and does that on the way to the interview with this guy, and he's got snake blood all over his shirt, so he gets changed. But yeah, so they end up going in this competition together, where the prize money is $20,000 if you kill the most pythons, in the short period of time. And she says, "Look, if we win, I'll invest my half into your business." So he's going to get the full 20 grand. So, yeah. And then it's just all the shenanigans that go along with. I'm 5 episodes in. I think there's 10 out at the moment. It's only just come out. But yeah, it's called Killing It. It's by the guys who created Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the humor is there. It's the same kind of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good show. I just thought I only discovered it last week, and I'm loving it. I'll try and watch at least 1 or 2 episodes a day. So for you Aussies, you can find it on Stan. I'm not sure about the States.
Cool, killing it.
So yeah, I try to keep it quick, but yeah, it's a really good show. Check it out. Half an hour show, make you laugh. Yeah. Cool.
You know what time it is for now?
It's time for Jemmy's email. Sexy time.
Yeah. Now because a lot of people are demanding these sort of emails because it's a lot of Warren Buffett. Give me your money and all that stuff. So I thought I'd go back to one of my older emails where it's just a picture, like my profile picture is just, I think it's just a cartoon version of me essentially. So
I'm intrigued by the first line.
Yeah. Well, the headline is the title of the email is "Let me show you a good time this evening." Wink.
Oh, there is a wink too. I didn't even see that.
Joggle. Says, "Hey, sexy man, I'm pretty attracted to you, judging only from your profile and your picture. But if you have been honest, and that's a real recent photo,
in capital letters,
I am really attracted to you. I just want to have fun and have sex. Are you still available?"
Okay, now I'm going to read it in the voice of the actual person that's typing it. "Hey there, sexy man. I'm pretty attracted to you, judging from your profile picture. But if you're being honest and that's a real recent photo, then I guess I'm really attracted to you. Just want to have some fun and have some good old sex. Are you still available?"
So what you're saying is it's Jim Riley.
No, I wasn't impersonating our friend Jim Riley. I was just like, it's a dude who's in his 50s, in his undies, in a basement.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying anything bad about Jim Riley because he would shoot me.
Look, I love Jim Riley. It's just
you had awesome. And he's been in jail.
You chose a similar accent.
Yeah, well, that's my southern drawl.
Yeah.
I have one southern drawl.
Okay.
Thing.
No, that's fine.
From Louisiana.
But yeah, that's one of my sexy emails.
Did you reply?
So I've got a date on Thursday.
With John Hill?
I will be holding 1 red rose and 1 blue balloon.
1 red rose.
Yeah. Sexy time.
Backstreet's back.
If you're listening, who's your favorite boy bands from the 90s? Send it to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com.
We don't judge.
Secretly, we all loved them. So.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew all the words to all of NSYNC 5, Backstreet Boys. Westlife. Do you remember Westlife with Ronan Keating?
I do.
And what was it? Take That with Robbie Williams. That's where Robbie Williams came from.
Mm-hmm.
A boy band called Take That.
Take That. Yep.
Much better than your One Directions at the moment. And your, what do you call it? BSK or whatever they are from fucking Japan.
Oh man, this is going back. I don't know when this is, but my cat's having a hernia.
Are you getting home invaded?
No, well, look, I'm house sitting for my sister, and they've got a needy cat and a needy dog, and they're missing them.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Like, because the family's always here.
Mm.
So they're just singing. But do you remember an old band from England called Busted?
Yeah.
It's What I Go to School For or something?
Oh, they had a song about the teacher.
What I Go to School For.
what I go to school for. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what
like,
it is,
I don't know when it came out, but that was so
Yeah,
random.
Roger was obsessed with them.
Like,
And they had a song called The Year 3000 or something.
yeah.
Looking up for you in the year 3000 or something like that. Don't quote me, but yeah, busted. Yeah.
Yeah, it just came to me. And I was like, wow, that's so random.
Well, that's like what's it? Fountains of Wayne. Stacey's
Yeah.
mom, it's got it going on. You remember?
Yeah.
I'm in love with Stacey's mom.
So it
I had a
just,
friend named Stacey. Her mom wasn't attractive at all, so I wasn't in love with her.
yeah, cool.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us reminisce about the 90s and bands we loved.
Back in my day.
Yep.
Next time we're going to be talking about TV shows or movies.
Probably, yeah. We'll figure out what we're doing. But thanks for listening. As always, if you've got stories, send them to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. If you know any authors or filmmakers or people with interesting stories and you want to come on and have a chin wag, like I said, drop a comment down below or send an email to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com.
Excellent. No, it's been a pleasure.
Yep. Then we'll catch you next time, guys.
See you next time.